continue this. Alright. May 3rd, 11:56 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. Mr. Wright? Huh, what? Trials always like this with you? Not too loud. Like you're swimming up from the bottom of the lake about to reach the surface? There we go. But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there? Pretty much, except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister, anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner! They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire it up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall. I'd come take a look-see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. We've got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What is going on over there, anyway? All the police I've seen these last few days have been really on edge. But you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scars. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. Don't say. Now don't that just beat all? Seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. Saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the award ceremony that afternoon. Edgeworth's seen it too, I'd reckon. What does that mean? Photograph taken at the crime scene. She wasn't wearing a scarf. So Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns, and sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee! Back in court. Oh, probably should bring this up. Don't care about that. I'd like to resume? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution.
Oh.
Something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused, you're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be! This can't happen! I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it is time we continue on with this trial. During our recess... This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me, knock knock. Who's there? The hell?
Who this?
What's with this guy? Strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. What on earth is he? Ah, it's you.
Who is you?
Oh! Sorry I'm late, Udgy. Roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see, eh, Udgy? How ya been? Swim much these days? What? Ah, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy, smizzy, Udgy. My boy. You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Udgy seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Thanks? So sorry about our little Worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly! Little Worthy? Mr. Wright. You don't know the district chief of police? Oh, it's the chief of police. Chief of police looks more like a clergyman.
Yep.
Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. And he stares into your soul. Name's Gant, Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's Worthy. Here, look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help you out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. The crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On Little Worthy's car, no less. It's really quite embarrassing even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your... I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says, person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature is there. Miles Edgeworth? It's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had... Your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah! Court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. Blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. Wow, don't scare me like that. I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. This dark red stain. Blood? Blade knife added to the court record. Does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. Terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us? About the split between the prosecutors and the police and this knife. Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. The detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess. Time of the crime, 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, Udgy. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Oh, there was a second murder?
What?
Wait a second, you said 5:15? That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order. Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might as well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department situation. Well, Mr. Wright, 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. Chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Wait a second. At last, an honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Aha! An honest-to-goodness, what do you mean from Udgy? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here, we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S 12-2? Your Honor, it's upside down. Printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around, what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing that is written on this nice tag. Order. Well, Chief? Ah, well. Guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto. I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in the case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. There's evidence, you say. Was it, in fact, a murder weapon? Nice. Good show, Little Worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So his knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edward's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto? Suppose I could help. If you need me help, if you help me by giving me data on your case. Ooh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. Evidence room? Wait a second, I have heard of that. The evidence room. Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? Knife was evidence in the case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. You don't say? Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. Connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. Knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. We also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed, there do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. two make a good pair. Took my men 2 days to find out what you had deduced right here. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. That's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who'd have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh, well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. Victim's ID number. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me the name. Tell me their name after all. Keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. Number is 584-2189. It's the same victim.
What?
Why is this guy trying to pull this shit? Well, that's quite long. We have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82. I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? The ID number of the... Yes, tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning... Has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. What? No, it's just I got confused. This is news? Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing, like you always do. Police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives murdered, one at a time. At one time. Huh?
So yeah, at one time.
Sorry. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh, is it yours? No, Your Honor. I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, righto. Personnel IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 584-2189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten. Didn't get the first number right again! Number the chief of police gave us was 584-2189. Wait a second, right? What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, ho, ho, ho! Sharp as a tack, righto, sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. I don't know. In the evidence room at the exact same time. Dun dun dun! That's impossible. So what we're saying is the same person was killed at the same time? And in a completely different location? Order, order, order. Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Supplies!
Supplies!
Hey!
Hi, guys!
Welcome.
Hi!
Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error, Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours.
But
What? How dare?
I've enjoyed them so far.
We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Oh, the duty sent away. Oh shit, he got himself in trouble.
Ooh, edgy.
Officer Meekins?
Edgy.
Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha! Excuse me, but is
Angel!
Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Angel. Is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the Pleasance?
Yeah, I've really been enjoying them. Well, this one, this is the first game.
Yeah, there's two more. This is like the longest case right now.
Yeah, this is the last case of the first game.
This is the bonus one when they switch to the DS. I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Oh, he's having an aneurysm.
Oh, no.
You don't mean him. According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me. He said that report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. It didn't.
It had to do with a different one.
Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report.
Oh,
Gah!
no.
Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. Capable, sorry. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then why should I have to do anything? No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy?
Oh, jeez.
What? He's fucking with him.
Yes, he is.
I'd be too.
Yeah.
Now, what was that second rule of evidence law? Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Oh, and that's why he had Phoenix do it. Dude, he played everybody.
Jeez.
Just to not get in hot water. How is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in the court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court.
Jeez.
The connection was just proven by Rido over here. This is why he's chief of police. He can play the game. Good job, Rido, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No.
Oh.
No!
Edgeworth is not happy.
Nope. He done fucked up.
Poor Edgy.
Seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy. What with all these rumors? Oh. You weren't even in the defendant's chair just this past... You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. He's having an aneurysm.
Yes, he is.
I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened, if it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time, really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. Jeez. I'll grant one further day as the prosecution has requested.
Jeez.
Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned.
Oof.
Do, 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 do.
How was the rest of your stream of LA Noire.
Alright, so we did that. February 23rd, 2:15, Wright and Company Law Offices. Mr. Wright, so what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, driving's not easy in that game.
I didn't care. I used to just run people over and have the guy sitting next to me yell at me all the time. We're supposed to be protecting the public, not killing them! Yeah. Boom. There's just a speed. Boom! Let's see. What is going on? Victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room. What's this and the evidence room part? Prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we're going to find out. Or try to, at least. Alright, let's do it. Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be very much help with us. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. Prosecutor's office, underground parking garage. Underground parking lot. Now, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in the evidence room. No biggie.
So there wasn't a body found at the other one? Oh.
Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. Oil drum. Was it empty? Oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. My sister erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never. Even though she says they really don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just, we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, water in that oil drum washed it all away. Hey. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that is luminol testing fluid. Luminol? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. Wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try.
Point.
Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. Testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You had an extra pair of those things? Oh, that went red. Test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Yeah. Yeah, the police department that just kind of... that employs Detective Gumshoe, who jumps at the first...
I like that. I like Detective Gumshoe, though.
I do, too. But he jumps at the first conclusion he comes to. To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press enter to spray it on. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains. See her eyes shining behind those glasses. So is this a bloodstain? It's so... ugh. Emma, you're shaking. It's just, this is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd, scientifically speaking, of course? What's odd about this, scientifically? Could it be the bloodstain's location? Because if you murdered somebody, wouldn't it be all over the trunk?
Yeah.
Ah, and the amount of blood, too. Both of them. Perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little bit more blood? Well, sure. I definitely think so. I mean, Look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought there, there'd have to been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a bloodstain, okay? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too. I saved up my allowance to buy that.
Oh, jeez.
Huh?
Her.
Little testing fluid received from one very proud-looking Emma Skye. Can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Then let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah. Feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? What did we turn into, CSIs? We're lawyers, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, really.
Guess I should give this spray...
Well, she's more of the
CSI.
CSI.
But yeah, I mean, like, even with the investigations we did before, we felt more like...
Yeah. This is true. Gotta respect she knows exactly what she wants to do with her life while in high school.
True.
This is true.
Better than Maya. Not sure. I'm gonna stop doing my, training. I can't talk to Mia anymore!
Maya was the younger one?
Yeah, because Mia Fey is the actual lawyer that got killed in, like, the first episode. What? What?
Just...
Ha!
Oh, jeez.
Wonder how that fluid of yours will react to a nice deli box. The star. You only trust your own eyes. Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house. Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering. Do I talk to her? Do I have to talk to her? Yeah. Certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Star, but... No, it's okay. Yeah, this one's annoying.
What's sushi on her head?
I forget what those are called. They're like little... I'm gonna make a fool of myself, but they've got a little thing inside of them sometimes. It's not sushi, though. It is a Japanese thing, though.
No worries. Hopefully you get it done.
Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, so you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Is it Onigiri? I thought they were like... Oh, crap. Is that what that is? I can never remember. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you. I kept thinking it was like a rice cake or something like that.
Rice ball.
Rice ball. That's what I was introduced to them as. Rice balls.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry, you lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here.
Yeah, I love autocorrect.
Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Skye stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. Ah. Swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. I have questions. I have a feeling it might be the guy who killed Goodman dressed as him to get out and stole his stuff. I know his photograph has something important to tell us, but what? So you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I dragged the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. Before long, they called me the Cough-Up Queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunch. And you were let go or fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case, the SL9 incident. SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean... what do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? That knife was evidence from that case, the murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Oh, wait. I think I can talk to her about it now. Nope, I can't. Oh, hold on. You think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. So you went straight to the scene of the crime? I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime? Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. 5 minutes weren't the problem, mister. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl, I've had my testimony disregarded before, and I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time? Maybe she'll talk about it now? Yes! That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago was the biggest case I'd ever handled. Police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence, of a sort, made up evidence.
Oh no.
What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be... Exactly, Detective Jake Marshall. He was detective, now he got dropped down to patrolman. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined, and then it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9? There's another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait, those lunches you sell. There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate. The Star's old boyfriends, how many does she have anyway? It's when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, rookie. What? Seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes. Then you should take this. Salisbury steak lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Ah, putting Marshall in a good mood. Miss Starr? Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. Long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me back then. It would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. Examine. I think I've already examined this, but do it again. Aha! A ladder. That's a step ladder. What's the difference in scientific terms, please? Scientific, huh? Look at the basic nature of the thing, Mister, right? This all seems so horribly familiar somehow. Move. Third, police department entrance. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. Detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. Suppose it makes sense. The detective did get killed here, after all. The evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is. It's like a kid in an amusement park. Oh,
really
a real crime
though.
scene. Let's go take a look. Guard station. There we go. Evidence room station, guard station. The decor in this place is very eccentric. Jakes. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room, the scene of the crime. Sure seems that way. Oh, what's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight. You can't handle the cacti. Stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where's the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Can't go any further.
Yeah, in front of the door.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. Would think just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. More an attitude thing than a physical similarity. Likes his liquor. There's a security guard uniform hanging here. How is that a security guard uniform? It's more like a costume than a uniform, honestly.
Yeah.
Leather jacket, leather pants, a leather... What was that called again? A punchy? A paunchy? A pinchy? I know, a poochie. Wait, maybe that wasn't it. Poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like there's a video feed from the evidence room here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says recording. Bet we could use this computer to check on who went in and out of here. Look on the floor, a lasso. Looks like it's set up to trap something. Trap? Here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here, but the lasso missed. Sure have an active imagination.
Mm-hmm.
The swinging door makes the place look like some kind of saloon. But look, it's nailed shut. You can't get in that way. Of course not. If you went in through here, the cactus would fall over. Ouch. I'd say it'd be more of a yarg myself. Evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Thought it'd be open? I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. Alright, anyways. I just wanted to investigate everything because I can. Let's go to the detention center. Place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Please! Huh? Wasn't that... One steak lunch, please! Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We've caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence. The criminal, you mean? You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal? On the same day the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't gonna fill my belly. What? Wait, don't leave! Want to know more? Head on down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later! Ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation's off to a running start. Oh, I think I have to go here first in order to get there. Yep, detention center. February 23rd, detention center visitors room. Still, I do feel better about things, a little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. What was that? Sir! That's what I'm saying! Me, a perpetrator? Meekins? I'd say I was perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say.
Oh, no.
Hi. Greetings, sir. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Officer Meekins, so you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir. I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report. No, sir. How should I say this? Wait. He isn't, is he?
No.
You... Officer Meekins, you didn't. Did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir! Hell? What? What? Now, this is an unexpected turn of events. What the hell? Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir! Sir! Ow, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. Guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. Normally there's a guard at the evidence room? That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in this evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person! What the heck is this guy doing? What happened then? After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red. I blacked out. When I came to, I was here in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask you, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. Bandage on his hand? Just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir! Please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir! You have to label me as a perpetrator or victim, sir! Then label me the victim! I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive and well at that. Yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So, you didn't know him. Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creatured comforts. I don't know any detectives. So if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone around here is more confused than I am.
Seriously.
About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, don't you think you should just confess? But sir, but there was nothing I could do. Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. The next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were, huh? Then when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hands, sir. Oh, the shock! Oh, the sorrow, sir! Can you imagine how I felt? Victim's body disappeared? That's some story. This just gets more confusing.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Oh, hold on. Is this Detective Goodman? Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey! That's it! That's it, sir! That's it! That's it! That's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember! I remember, sir! You mean you remembered what happened? Correct! That card! That card was the cause of it all! This ID card? Exactly, sir! That's exactly it! Nothing could be more exact, sir! Nothing! Better pry into this one a little deeper. Crime details. Can you tell me what it is you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a little lost patrolman, a little lost lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. That's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me! What? Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him? Do unto others before they do unto you! My own father's words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir, everything went white. When I awoke, I was here. Right. So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Let's look at what we know. Yeah, seriously. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim whom he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir! That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here? They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out. It's there, it's me, it's on tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? Sorry, really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it. No, thanks. I have my own. Well, I guess we better go check out the crime scene. Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives desk. It's Police Chief Gant. You're sure this is all, hmm? You know what it means if there is anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect.
Most likely totally.
Oop. Under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you can call me right away, deal? Yes, sir. Scour the place again, sir. Chief of Detectives looked a little flustered. Aha! Righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much? This thing was swimming.
Swimming, yeah, really.
Oh ho ho, Chief Gant. Reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? Is that just gonna be okay? Oh, Worthy? Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Oh, he's in trouble. Sounds like an inquisition. Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident in Gourd Lake? Doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right? Righto? Von Karma! legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it, so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they'd do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? Downright odd, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf, too. I mean, they're being the prosecutors, I assume? Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Now, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. Now, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives trapped shut. Exactly. He was the one you were picking on earlier? Huh? You saw that? Whoops. I wonder what it was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do. See if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Alright. Oh. Oh, sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the chief of police want you to do? Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. Lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose anything? Or lose something? Date on this is February 21st. Better make a note of that just in case. June 21. Goodman's lost item report added to the court record. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Ryder would ask me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. No. Now, righto. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead. Investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. Just goes to show, you never know until you ask. And for you, here, you can borrow this. Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. Just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir. Because, sir, we get to go to the evidence room now, sir. I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Alright. So, police department entrance. Guard station. Examine the door. Evidence room is beyond that door. And we have the ID card from Chief Kent. Let's just walk in. Won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking?
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll hold off. Actually, I'll go to the restroom with you. How about that?
I'll be right back.
Be right back. Howdy, partners. Well, what's made my Bambina sky so great?
Nope.
There, it's red. BRB.
You guys staying?
Yes, they are. Investigating down here. Girl, get out of there. Lay down.
And we're back.
Correct. Alright. Thank you. Officer Marshall, why does it have to be him? What's that why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest? That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. You're busy then. Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambina, but I'm off to roam the lands like a tumbleweed on the wide prairie. Like a gunslinger loading his six-shooter, I say a little prayer. Work? What was that all about, Mr. Wright? Think he was just too hungry to talk. Just saying that because his stomach was growling. You have no idea what he was talking about either. Well, in any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation pronto. I was wondering if we could talk to you... Sorry, Bambina. Oh, got it.
Yeah, the lunch.
Yeah, give him lunch. That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby? Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? What? What's wrong? A filet steak lunch? I see, I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Give him the lunch. Alright, Bambino, you win. Ask munch, munch, anything, munch, munch, smack. Finally, it seems like. He's willing to talk. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy, I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? Don't blame you. So what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. No, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. No need for people here, anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know? The Star told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. Can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it, anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us actually what happened. What actually happened. There's some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago? The day of our case. That's right, the evidence transferals. Edgeworth was talking about the transferals, too. I know that maybe two of the machines... I know what maybe two of the machines in here do. There we go. Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well... I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. Easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned. Nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. That's the card reader by the door. Card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. This is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before. Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing's about? We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see? So what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February. I see now. Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever, dead. Never to be reopened again, never to be reinvestigated. That happened to SL9 2 days ago. Okay. See this? This is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot? The number on this is 584-2189. Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. 514. Look, the fourth number, it's a perfect match. But there's two of them at 514.
Yeah. Is it 4?
Used at 514 right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meekin say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card. He asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. Excuse me. If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. Guess I can give you this ID card record. Excuse me. Alright. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Alright. I'm gonna go in the evidence room. There's a freaking car door. Why, the investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room? This really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Eek! Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. Wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So is it true what I heard? Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me to, sir, can I borrow $50? I give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate the room to your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, that's true. So Chief of Police Gant will loan anyone $50? Even me?
Oh, Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, so that's what you were talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day. But guess what? You got permission from the chief. So now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. Scene of the stabbing of a detective at the PD. Alright. So, Detective Gumshoe, your boss for the day? That's right. It's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're the boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. My own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here, too, Detective Gumshoe? Haha, of course. I'm a detective, after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open? Guessing it's the IDs again. I always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what people say. So Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee right now? I'm trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. Guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. Of course he's involved in this one, too. That's the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID card? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already. Sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coated with a fingerprint. Said right hand? They hurt both their left hands. Okay. The only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it, zap, you get a shock. That's what happened. My hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Gotcha. Alrighty. His note. Goodman's note, and that switchblade knife. Bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because the SL9 connection? That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Now, that was a bloody, violent case. Violent? So it was a murder. A serial killing.
Oh.
Serial killing. Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. This was 2 years ago? Put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumors about forged evidence? It was supposed to be all cleaned up with a transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So, that switchblade knife. Victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Let's see. Did you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman. Whoa! What is it? The second number! It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth! What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? Oh, that's lovely. Keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? Alright, let's examine. Something's sticking out of here. Looks like a shirt. Guess it must be evidence for some case. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe put this here. There you go, pal, making me out to look like some kind of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was open recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detectives responsible. Ah, where am I? There we go. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves evidence hanging out a lot, too. Bet he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat either. If you're gonna talk behind someone's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. Slide. Wasn't this open a second ago?
Oh.
Wasn't it?
Maybe.
I thought there was like a green thing in there. What's this? Blood? It's a little warm, but there's definitely a handprint here. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright. What if there are other bloodstains left in this room? We should use our testing fluid to check it out. Look, this one's open. The red indicator light above the door is lit. That locker is coded with Detective Goodman's fingerprint. Detective Goodman's locker. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. It's evidence from the case, you know. Mean SL9? It does have a tag on it. Rubber glove, extremely thin rubber glove. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps? Stop shitting on Detective Gumshoe. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. It's apparently from The Case. The Case? The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of those pieces there? Another piece of SL9 evidence. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. You want to try to put it back together? Ha! Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. Why I always carry around a tube of glue. Of course. This piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest into place. Nope, not quite. Wouldn't be that one. Would it be this one? No. 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 Oh, there we go. One is the one with the chunk.
It's like Secret of the Scarlet Hand.
What's that?
It's like Secret of the Scarlet Hand.
Yeah.
With the face back together.
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
Yep.
Sorry. I meant to rotate it. Yeah, this one. No. No, that's the top of it. Looks like this, doesn't it? No. That would be the top, like that, I think. Or maybe it's a subtle chunk? No. No, that's the top again. There it is. I didn't see that part. No. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's like someone got beaten in the head with it.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Some pieces stolen? Bet they were missing to begin with. Still, doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. That's true. I kind of understand how it got broken. Unstable jar added to the court record. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Ooh. Must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. You're not a professional. What's your opinion, Detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien. This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it in the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you should have asked. I knew it! This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, Detective? This locker, it's mine. It's yours? Please, you have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. Counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. What? But you're a detective.
It's ridiculous.
Wait, there's another handprint. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. It just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Hey, pal, look at the time. Is there something you need to be going to? Just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. Gotta give them my report for the day. Might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of the flyer? The one that says, nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. Believe in it. Who needs enemies when you got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. Probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. There... Oh, there we go. There we go. He's back yet. Hi, prosecutor's office. Room 1202. Oh, this guy again! From the hotel. Ah, I guess. My apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Oh, you don't look happy, right? He has a hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Well, that's good. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. You okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened? They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. Police department? Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police Gant. Damn. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you, why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Yeah. Oh, right. I'd better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage. Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. Why do I feel like this guy's setting him up for a fall?
Probably.
Chief of Police? He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence is already filed. Chief has never wanted to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Now I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make a note of it. Stubborn as always, I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. I know you. You probably got a hold of some information already, right? Right? It all has something to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident. And some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You're the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. Must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. Nawakio Akut was involved in that case 2 years ago, too, then. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why it was a deputy chief of police on the investigation. Truth, I used slightly more extreme method than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't... Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything to win the trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? You're still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this. Ooh, a fingerprinting kit. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints. And chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Yep. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Alright, time to go back to the evidence room. Entrance. Oh, she's gone too. Station. Evidence room, Sector 3. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use a secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. Let's choose a finger that will have left behind the clearest print. Really can't tell a difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. I'm starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With enter, see? Ah, looks like that did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With E. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow. Looks like fun. Might take some time to get used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. Guess I'd better give it a try. I think I'd like to try one of the other fingerprints. Okay, let's move to a different finger. Did I do that right or wrong? I can't tell. Aha! You did it! You found one! But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't you look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely. The thumb again?
No. Other way.
Oh. Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
See right there.
Aha! Maybe I have to do this side too. There we go. Up here. Yay, a print so clear it's dazzling! Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we're not done yet? This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? Guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. Point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I can make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in the different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprint would we most likely find on this evidence locker? Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look. I guess it's probably because I was thinking, so what? Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Nope, not what I meant. Ah! I think I have to do it this way. This is where we got the luminal fluid reaction, right? Right! There was a handprint here. Okay, want to try using this? There go her eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. Over here? Oh, wait. Maybe not here. Oh yeah, no, hold on. Right, okay, so if you were to wipe away a bloody handprint, what wouldn't be bloody? 1, 2, over here? Or, here we are. Oh, I still gotta do this down section. Maybe up here a little bit more. There we go. Not him.
Cake.
Would have an axe to grind. Detective Goodman. Wait, Detective Goodman was the only one who didn't get demoted. Hey, these fingerprints, whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Marshall's fingerprints added to the court record. It's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh! So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a white blood stain. Why would Officer Marshall? Looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to keep you up all night. The next part of the case is probably going to be long.
It's definitely a long one.
On to day 3 of the trial. Trial former. Alright.
We can try to do some more tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll do that. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. I know, I am. Okay. We are going to call it a night from here. We will catch you next time. You all have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. I think we're
Okay.
going to try to do some more tomorrow around the same time-ish.
As long as your work agrees.
Yeah, as long as work isn't completely nuts
Yeah, no problem.
tomorrow.
You all have a good one.
Good night, guys.
Stay safe. Bye.